In Atlanta, engineer John Garrity is busy working on a major construction project focused on building a new structure. His thoughts often drift to his family. When he finally returns home, he cherishes every moment, playing with his young son and enjoying their time together. That evening, they watch the news reporting on a comet named Clark, which is set to pass close to Earth. Scientists assure the public that it poses little to no threat, and most people expect nothing more than a beautiful light show in the night sky. However, John's young son, Nathan, feels uneasy about the news. Sensing his fear, John gently reassures him, explaining that there is nothing to worry about. John and his wife Allison are working through tension in their marriage, but they try to keep things normal for Nathan's sake. The family prepares for a neighborhood gathering to mark the comet's passing. Nathan has diabetes, so his insulin kit stays close by. As they get ready, the news breaks in. A larger fragment than expected has struck Tampa, destroying the city instantly. The room goes silent. At the gathering, everyone is shaken by the news from Tampa. Then John's phone buzzes with a strange alert. It says his family has been chosen for emergency shelter under a government program and must report to a nearby Air National Guard base right away. John does not understand why they were picked, but the message feels urgent, and he decides they must act. John tells Allison about the message. She is confused but trusts him. They say quick goodbyes and rush home to pack only what they need. Their neighbors sense something is wrong as only John's family receives alerts. Word spreads that only some families are being saved. Their friend Kenny confronts John, begging to bring his own family along. John has no way to help him and feels the weight of guilt as he refuses. The moment shows how fast fear turns into desperation. The Garritys drive through streets full of panic. Traffic stretches for miles as people try to flee. When they reach the base, thousands of others are already waiting. Soldiers check names against a list, letting through only approved families. Guards demand identification for each person. In the confusion, Nathan's insulin kit is still in the car. As they wait, a soldier notices Nathan's medical bracelet and hesitates, saying those with a chronic illness are not guaranteed passage. Allison argues that he is on the approved list, but they refuse to let them on the plane, and the family is finally pushed ahead through the gate. Alone with Nathan, Allison spots a family loading into their car and hurries over, asking if they can come along. The family agrees and they share what little food they have while driving together toward the airfield. As they get closer, the man realizes that they are among those chosen for evacuation, and his attitude shifts. He pulls Nathan into his own group, hoping to pass the boy off as his son to secure a place on the plane, and manages to get him away from Allison in the crush of people. At the gate, Nathan speaks up, telling the guard that he has been taken from his mother. The guard pulls him back from the strangers, freeing him from their grasp. John finally reaches the car, grabs Nathan's insulin, and returns to the gate. He shows his coded wristband and the guards let him through. Once inside, he boards a departing plane, searching every row for his wife and son. They are nowhere to be found. Losing hope, he asks the crew to let him off before it takes flight. As he steps back onto the tarmac, the crowd surges toward the runway, and in the chaos, a fuel line tears loose from a nearby aircraft. Sparks ignite the leaking fuel, and a violent explosion tears through the airfield, sending people scattering in every direction. Shaken by the explosion, John makes his way back toward the car, unsure of what to do next. He notices a message placed on the car from Allison. She tells him she and Nathan are safe, and that he should make his way to her father's house instead of searching the airfield any further. Relieved but still anxious, John sets out on the road, holding on to the hope of finally reuniting with his family. Having pulled Nathan free from the strangers at the gate, Allison finds another family willing to help her reach the airfield checkpoint. Allison searches everywhere, hoping to find Nathan. Exhausted but relieved, she manages to find her son. She keeps Nathan close, knowing they must now find a way to reach her father's house and wait for John there. John tries to find a place to contact Allison, but phones are not working. On the road, John meets other stranded travelers who tell him only a small number of shelters exist, and that time is running out faster than anyone expected. Inside the truck, one of the strangers tells John to give him his code wristband, but he refuses. A fight happens and John tries to protect himself. The truck is suddenly hit by another car, and all men's thrown out. At the end, John manages to overcome the two men. He feels guilty, but there was no other way but to protect himself. Holding on to Allison's message, he presses toward her father Dale's house, setting aside years of old conflict for the sake of reaching his family. John arrives at Dale's home. Dale is distant at first, still holding on to old resentment. Before they can settle anything, Allison and Nathan arrive, having made their way toward the same house. The family embraces, overwhelmed with relief after their long separation. John asks Dale to come with them, but Dale refuses, insisting he will not leave the home he has always known. Seeing them together, his guard softens enough that he agrees to give John his truck and supplies for the road ahead. News reports reveal that Tampa was only the first strike, and a far larger piece of the comet is still coming. The family understands there is no more time left to waste. With Dale's truck packed and ready, the family sets out for the last known evacuation site. The roads are cracked and littered with wreckage from panicked crowds. As they drive, streaks of light fall from the sky. Small pieces break off and strike the ground nearby, one grazing dangerously close to the truck. The family presses on through the falling debris, knowing stopping is not an option. By nightfall, they reach a small airport just as a plane prepares to leave the ground. Desperate, John steers the truck onto the runway, blocking its path. He runs to the cockpit and begs the pilot to let his family aboard. After a tense moment, the pilot agrees, and the family climbs in as the plane rolls forward again. Shortly after takeoff, the plane is struck by a wave of falling debris from the comet. The impact damages the aircraft, sending it into a rough, uncontrolled descent. It crashes near a mountainside. The passengers survive, shaken but alive, though the pilot does not make it out. Wandering near the crash site, the family comes across a group of soldiers passing through the area. They ask for help, and the soldiers agree to take them to a nearby shelter before the final impact arrives. Inside, the mood is heavy, filled with quiet fear as everyone waits for what is coming. The final massive piece of the comet strikes the Earth. The shelter shakes as the impact reshapes the world above. Outside, everything once familiar is gone. Inside, the survivors sit in silence, uncertain what remains beyond the walls protecting them, holding on to each other as the only thing left they can be sure of. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update.